Now Gertrude was having a whale of a time swinging from the rope. She'd woken up properly and was propelling herself to and fro so she could swing through the air. "Is Gertrude all right?" asked Sid, his face awash with worry. Eric looked down out of the truck window. "I don't think I've ever seen her happier." "I hate to spoil her fun, but we'd better try to reel the old girl in." Using all their might, the pair heaved on the rope and opened the passenger side door. Like fishermen reeling up a hefty catch, the gorilla eventually landed in the truck right on top of Eric. Sitting on his lap, the gorilla put her arms round the boy and gave him a big smacker on the cheek. "Steady on, Gertrude," protested Eric with a smile. "You've just rescued the princess. It's her right to thank her knight in shiny armour with a kiss. Now come on, old girl, slide over." Sid guided Gertrude to sit between them in the truck as Eric untied the rope from her ankle. Meanwhile, the gorilla had found a spare flying helmet and a pair of goggles. Not feeling to want to be left out, she put them on. Now she looked like a proper pilot too. Well, a great big hairy one. "We did it!" exclaimed the boy. "We really did," agreed Sid. Both hugged the gorilla, and the truck soared into the sky above Regent's Park. "So how are you feeling, old girl?" asked Sid. The gorilla stuck her tongue out and did the longest, noisiest raspberry. "She's never been better," laughed Eric. All that laughter was to be short-lived, as suddenly the sound of shells exploded all around them. Anti-aircraft guns were firing at them from the ground. "Oh no!" cried the boy. The air raid siren wailed. Shells exploded all around them, rocking the truck as if it were on a roller coaster. The gorilla screamed in fear. She began thrashing around in the cabin. "Gertrude, no!" shouted Eric, trying to calm her. But it was clear the shells were frightening her as much as they were frightening him. "Up!" ordered Sid, and they piloted the truck higher and higher into the sky. Still the shells exploded all around them. Suddenly, inside the truck, the three felt a searing heat. Sid looked out of the window at the barrage balloon above. One of the shells must have exploded right next to it, because flames were now licking the side of the balloon. "What now?" asked the boy, his arms wrapped around Gertrude. "Any moment now the balloon is going to explode, and we're going to have to make an emergency landing." Just then there was a mighty howl of engines over their heads. Eric looked out of the truck. The sky above them had been divided up like a jigsaw by hundreds of planes powering along in formation. Sid, Eric and Gertrude had flown slap bang right into the middle of the biggest bombing raid of the war so far. The fighter planes began firing their guns to shoot the barrage balloon out of the sky to clear the way for the bombers. The three were now being attacked not just from below, but from above too. In no time, the balloon was hit. It exploded with a loud kaboom. The scorching heat and blinding light of a massive fireball exploded into the sky. This was followed by the truck trundling through the air. "We're doomed!" shouted Sid, still clinging onto the steering wheel as they plummeted. "Codename Bananas isn't over yet," replied the boy. "We've still got the parachutes." Eric reached into the back of the truck for the 3 backpacks they'd taken from the downed bomber. "Have you ever parachuted before?" asked Sid. The boy shook his head. Then Gertrude shook hers too, perfectly reasonably. "It's not every day you see a gorilla doing a parachute jump, now is it?" "I've seen it in the Saturday morning pictures," said the boy, fastening the backpack to Gertrude before securing his own. "You just have to pull this cord," he said, pointing to a strap dangling from the pack. As the ground below thundered into view, Eric opened the door to the cab. "We have to go now," he said. Being a gorilla, Gertrude did not want to go. It seemed even more dangerous out there than it was in here. She held onto the seat with her big gigantic hands. "Gertrude, go, go, go," shouted the boy. But the creature just held on even tighter. There was nothing for it. Eric would have to push her. "I'm sorry, Gertrude, but you give me no choice." With that, the boy shoved the gorilla out of the truck. She whooped as she lost her grip and fell forwards. "The cord!" shouted the boy, just remembering. "She won't know how to pull the cord." With that, Eric leaped out of the truck head first, flying through the air as fast as he could. Above him, Sid leapt out and yanked the cord. The parachute billowed open and he began floating down to the ground. Below him, Eric could see Gertrude with her arms stretched out, flapping them like a bird. Needless to say, that wasn't going to help. If Eric didn't reach Gertrude soon, she would be nothing more than a splatter of hairy jelly on the ground. Keeping his arms tucked into his side so that he could fly through the air as quickly as possible, Eric fell faster than the gorilla.